Alright, so Dean wanted to hear some Vox in the Void, and I felt like hearing some Vox in the Void myself. And this is Ravenfall. This is unofficial Warhammer 40k audio, and apparently this was by Kill Team Hungary. So, I really do like what Vox in the Void does. He partners with writers on a good amount of occasions, I know, and he really brings those stories to life. He really, really does an amazing job with some of these. My favorite one so far that I've heard from him has to be the Tyrannid. The story concerning the Tyranids, where a ship gets swallowed, and it's hopeless. It's just god awful. It's a nightmare. Preysight is also pretty much anything that he's done I've enjoyed. So let's see what I'm going to enjoy now. This is Ravenfall, and we're just going to jump into this. Here we go.
Our guns in our forward outpost have fallen silent. The last of Las flashes ceased after that barrage of missiles that hit the command bunker. 105, come in. Repeat, this is 106, do you copy? What is your status? Our commander is losing it. After that explosion, it would be a miracle if any of the guard forces would emerge alive. Minutes pass, but I can't see any of our retreating forces. Looks like they fought to the last man. I look into my rangefinder. Contact! Tau infantry! I tell my commissar. Xenos bastards! Let them come! We will break them! Men, prepare your weapons!
Am I having a flashback? Anyhow.
As he readies us for the inevitable, I notice a flickering light on his vest. He raises his chainsword. Glory to the first man to die! His bellow is cut short, however, as the hail of pulse shots tear his body apart. As he falls, we duck behind the walls of our concrete trench. The precision of the burst that killed him is shocking. They must be on the building tops already. I quickly glance over to the upper floors of the habitation blocks in close proximity. No movement. I guess the commissar gets all the glory then, says a soldier next to me. Keep your head down. They must be on the vantage points, I tell him. My sergeant is issuing orders to our left flank. I see men taking up firing positions. He tells something to his confidant. He starts running towards us down the trench.
Pop.
He is 5 meters from me when a streak of light flashes through his chest. He tumbles and slides on his face, stopping at my feet. By the Emperor. And then it begins. Xenos weaponry open up on us. Pulse rounds and missiles impact on our position. First rank, fire! Second rank, get ready! I hear my sergeant yelling. So we did. Come on, lads. If we die, the sector is done for, I tell my comrades. There is about 100 of us left. As I fire, I see the firing line of the Xenos infantry advancing up the roadway, using the rubble as cover. I land a shot, only to be intercepted by their flying machines. Drones, they call them, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Our grenadiers put them to the test. Seems it's too much for their drones. Give them hell! I yell to our special weapons team. They are picked off rapidly, but this time the shots come from behind our lines. I turn, my back against the trench wall. My eyes move rapidly. Again, the shots came out of nowhere. Are we encircled? Our left flank crumbles. We are barely killing anything. Mostly just their drones. I hear a clicking sound next to me. A soldier in the second rank behind me yells, "Grenade!" A blinding flash engulfs the trench. I see nothing. I am knocked over. About a minute passes until I manage to recover. By that time, our defense line is overrun. I grab my lasgun, and as I am lying, I aim it at the closest fire warrior and pull the trigger. My rifle is empty. I curse out loud. This alerts the Xenos a few meters away. They turn on me and aim their rifles.
Drop your weapon and surrender.
The armored figure yells at me in broken Gothic, its elongated helmet distorting its voice. The Xenos holds a pistol-looking weapon straight at my head. I look at my dead comrades around me. Weapons litter the trench. I look at the closest lasgun. I leave my eyes on the weapon for too long. A fire warrior takes a step closer, and the one with the knife-looking thing on his belt yells at me again.
Surrender and live.
Indeed. There is no use to fight anymore, says another armored Xenos, a bit taller than the others, speaking perfect Imperial Gothic.
Talk to this one.
The leader tells this strange warrior.
He is your kind. Maybe he listens to you.
My kind, I whisper. The tall one steps closer. His rifle is lowered. He takes off his strange helmet. I step back in my shock. It's a human.
Traitor.
Greetings, guardsman. He starts. Fear not. You don't need to die right here, right now. I used to be like you, but I embraced the greater good. Join us, and you will be given a chance to fight for a truly noble cause. How could you? A filthy traitor is what you are. Listen. He leans closer and starts talking in a lowered voice. This is your chance, man. I suggest you take it. The Tau take care of us. He swings his arm back, gesturing at the Xenos. We are fed, and not with Imperial rations. You can even keep your faith if you so wish. Believe me. If you pull your weight, you work yourself up in the ranks. I fight because I choose to fight, not because I'm ordered to. He stops and looks at my uniform. I see the other Tau turning away from me and starting to round up the survivors. The officers are executed on the spot. Tell me why I shouldn't strangle you right here while your keepers aren't looking. Oh, but they are. He nods and gestures behind me. I turn. Shimmers are on the bunker top overlooking the trenches. Suddenly, 3 other creatures appear out of nowhere, wearing some kind of an armor that hides them from plain sight. These are my cadre's stealth suits. You have seen them firsthand. We have technological superiority, and this world will fold into the Tau Empire. We will bring you peace, and share our technology with you. Why die now when you could help us build a better world for you and your family? You do have a family, don't you? The Imperium oppresses you, forces you to fight. Then you die unremembered. Look! He turns his head upward and points toward the skies above. See, that's our carrier, and those are our Orca dropships. Each dot leaving the vessel carries dozens of warriors and suits like these. He is trying to impress me.
Yeah, he is.
I look up. Indeed, it is a grim sight to behold. The Xenos vessel is considerable and blocks out a huge part of the visible sky. It's casting a shadow over us even now. I lower my gaze back to the traitor. What is your answer? Will you join us? I can't guarantee your safety, nor the rest of the captured guard forces if you will not comply.
Quay Vesa,
says the Xenos, who is apparently some kind of leader of some sorts.
Enough. We wasted enough time with this.
It takes its weapon and hits me in the stomach. I grunt for a second, but the strike is surprisingly weak.
Yeah.
I grin. Is that the best you can do, Xenos scum?
Line up the Defiant Ones in front of that wall. We need to move. Quay Vesa, I will leave the rest to you. Make haste.
The traitor looks at me with...
That's the thing, it's like, okay. Well, Vesa literally means human helper.
disappointed eyes. You can't say I didn't give you a chance. You can go and... A sound of a sudden muffled explosion cuts me off. We look to the skies. The enormous Xenos ship in low orbit gives out a low growl. Escape pods deploy from the craft in rapid succession.
Uh-oh.
A few seconds later, major explosions burst out of the ship and into the atmosphere. The vessel starts to tilt. Its engines flicker and then shut down entirely. It begins falling out of the sky. The Xenos soldiers begin to scramble. One of the fire warriors kneels and pulls out what appears to be a long-range optic scanner.
Panic!
Sashway!
It yells.
Our carrier has sustained heavy damage and is losing altitude fast.
Oh no!
Escape pods inbound. I'm picking up no vital signs in them.
Oh no.
What happened? I can't establish a communications link with our ship. All channels are deaf.
The first escape pods crash land next to us. Their hatches burst open, but they are empty. All of them. The Xenos cries out again.
Sashway!
I'm about to be so satisfied.
We need to move! Debris coming!
The Xenos leader begins to shout orders into its comms unit. A drone arrives beside it and begins shadowing the movement of the leader.
Contact!
The fire warrior yells.
Cuevela! Amongst the falling debris! Minimum number of 5! Incoming! What?
As it questions its subordinate, the clinking sound of grenades catches my attention. And then I notice numerous grenade-like charges have impacted into the ground sporadically around us.
Uh-oh.
Too big to be standard guard issue. Too big for human hands. I notice the Imperial Aquila edged onto it.
For the Emperor!
I shove the human traitor away from me and dash into our trenches. This sudden attack took my captor by surprise, and he fell back onto one of those oversized grenades.
Yes!
A moment later,
Bye-bye.
he is disintegrated by the explosion.
Bye-bye!
A moment later, I am covered by human blood and guts. I can't hear. My ears are ringing. I look up from the trench and I see the Tau frantically firing upwards into the sky. The invisible machines they had, those stealth suits, went back into hiding. All I can see is their shimmers flying upwards to meet their supposed foes. My guardsmen comrades who have survived the detonations also seek refuge in the ruined bunkers of our defense lines. Suddenly, a lifeless Xenos in one of those suits crashed into the concrete next to me.
Ha!
I turn it over and see that its helmet bears a large hole. The back of its head is gone. And then, they arrive. Their armor emits a deafening sound, like carrion birds of old. There are 5 of them, and those 5 brought down the Xenos carrier. I spot the sergeant. His avian-like helmet is bleached bone white. But other than that, I don't recognize the power armor from the few pics I have seen and from the stories the veterans told me. He is like a blur. With his pistol and knife as big as a power sword, he adds a new Xenos corpse to the mound every second. He reaches to his satchels and litters his surroundings with grenades. A second later, with a muffled boom, smoke erupts and engulfs our outpost. All I see is grey. The smoke is thick. I decide to stay in the relative safety of the trenches. Bolters flash and boom. With each flash, I get a glimpse of silhouettes a dozen meters from me. Hulking giants, and the Xenos beside them, like children. Then it stops. The ringing in my ears fade. The sound of the avian shriek is also no more. I crawl out of the trenches, and with my hands held forward, I try to make my way through the smoke. I hear a muffled sound of pain, and then I see him. A pair of bright red glowing eyes flash up amidst the smoke. They turn on me. As the smoke fades, I see a towering giant clad in dark black armor. His face is a bleached white skull, and in his hand
Chaplain.
a knife longer than my lasgun, and in the other a still living Xenos warrior gasping for air. He holds him by the throat. With a sudden and lightning-fast motion, he impales the Tau with his knife and hacks the fire warrior in two, the parts flying in opposite directions. Then he turns to me. 4 other pair of red eyes emerge from the smoke and form up behind him. I can't help but drop to my knees. I find myself trembling. My lords?
Guardsmen,
The squad sergeant walks up to me.
how many of you are left?
I hesitate for a moment. I am unsure, Lord. Please give me a minute to...
No time. We have to move. This sector is clear. We made sure no more Xenos reinforcements will land in this part of the hive from their carrier.
He gestures at the Xenos vessel that just impacted on the surface on the other side of the city. I start to feel the tremors under my feet.
Gather what forces you have left. Take whatever weapons you can salvage and advance up towards the main spire of this hive.
He points to the towering structure in the distance.
Kill whatever Xenos you find along the way. If you encounter civilians, escort them to safety.
Lord, our commanders were killed by the Xenos. Lead us and we will follow.
You will lead them, guardsmen.
Yep, you just got a
The
promotion.
squad sergeant replies. He and the rest of his squad raise their arms in unison with grapnel pistols in hand.
I already have a squad to lead.
He looks up.
Standing by.
Suddenly, a black thunderhawk emerges between the spires of the habitation block and starts hovering above us. The Space Marine looks down at me. He bangs his fist onto his chest plate.
Victorus. Out. Mortis. Fight well, human.
They fire their grapnel launchers at the thunderhawk. My comrades gather around me. What was left of the smoke from a couple of minutes before is blown away from the engine wash of the Astartes vessel above. The Marines are lifted off the ground, and before we know it, they are already inside their ship. It orients itself towards the main spire, and with a deafening roar of its engines, it disappears from our sight.
This
A
is
few
good.
seconds later, 3 more Thunderhawks swoop over us in low altitude, heading in the same direction. I look at the survivors of my battalion. They are still recovering from the battle from a few minutes ago. All right, men. Gear up. Take everything which has ammo in and form upon me. This isn't over yet. The Emperor protects.
It's not over yet. It's just completely over now.
The Emperor protects.
Absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Okay, is there anything? Let's see if he has anything left on this. No? Alright. Okay, so. Another one. Okay, another one. This falls into what the Raven Guard do. More sabotagey than anything else, but I just by the title alone and the cover art, I was sitting there convinced it was going to be Raven Guard. I'm surprised they engage with the regular human at all. Most times they just don't, but I can see why he would if he's trying to get them to basically do something to assist. Most Astartes don't really view regular humans as being worth the time and effort to actually speak to in most cases. But yeah, this was excellent. I enjoyed it. I love the way he can create tension, and I love the fact it's the Tau getting shanked. That's just me. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. I'll be having all the Vox and the Voice links in the description down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, I have a Patreon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys next time.